James. And I'm from Mars.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk.
Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT +1. That is 11 a.m. GMT +1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosu.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosu.
You're welcome, Celebration Television News Desk. I am Nicholas Akosile Walter. Here are the news making the headlines. Present cracks may lead to Nigeria's breakup, Osibanjo warns. Mali, ex-foreign minister Wani named interim prime minister. And on Brexit, Gove heads to Brussels as European Union trade talks resume. Will pursue expansion policies to fight recession, says CBN. And on sports news, UFC, Adesanya pockets $0.6 million from Coastal Win. Please stay with us as we bring you details of our news after the short break. Thanks for joining us once more. Now the news in details. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, has said Nigeria may break up if efforts are not made to address the cracks. He said efforts to mend the crack may be opposed, but such opposition would be defeated with focus and consistent prayers. Osibanjo gave the warning in Abuja at an interdenominational church service to commemorate Nigeria's 6th independence anniversary. The Vice President was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, the National Ecumenical Center, where the anniversary service held. In attendance were representatives of the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, Head of Service of the Federation, Folasade Yemi Eisan, Permanent Secretaries, military officials, members of the diplomatic community, and other senior government officials. Referencing the biblical story of how Nehemiah championed the rebuilding of the broken walls of Jerusalem, Osibanjo said the story should be a challenge to every Christian in Nigeria. It's only that kind of Nehemiah's love that will make them as Nigerians to rebuild the cracks they have in their walls. The Vice President, however, expressed optimism that the 60th independence anniversary could herald a rebirth Nigeria, saying no group is more prepared for this task than religious bodies. The president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Dr. Samson Ayokunle, in his sermon titled "The Crucial Need to Attain Greatness at 60, stressed that the need for justice, which he said will bring peace, tolerance, and love. Moving forward quickly, Labour suspends planned strike as federal government reverses electricity tariff hike. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have actually suspended a strike scheduled to commence today, Monday. This followed an agreement reached with the federal government at a meeting which started at 8:30 p.m. on Sunday and ended at 2:50 a.m. this morning. After exhaustive deliberations on the issues raised by the Labour senators, the meeting agreed to suspend the application of the cost-reflective electricity tariff adjustments for 2 weeks. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, read the 5-page communique signed by the representatives of the government and Labour. The NLC President, Ayuba Waba, and his Trade Union Congress counterparts, Kordi Olaleye, amongst others, signed on behalf of organized labor, while the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, Minister of State Petroleum, Timi Presiva, Minister of State Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, and the Secretary to Government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, and others, signed on behalf of the government. The parties agreed to set up a technical committee comprising ministries, department, agencies, NLC, and TUC. The members of the committee include the Minister of State Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, as chairman, and Minister of State's Power, Godwin Jedi Agba, Chairman, National Electricity Regulatory Commission, James Momo, Special Assistant to the President on Infrastructure, Ahmad Zakari as the Secretary. Other members are Onoho Ome, Ehiohime, Joe Ajairo, NLC, Chris Okonkwo, TUC, and a representative of electricity distribution companies. In another development, NDDC needs new master plan for Niger Delta development, says Akpabio. Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godwin Akpabio, has said the Niger Delta Regional Development Master Plan and the Niger Delta Action Plan will be harmonized to produce a roadmap for development in the oil and gas rich area. Akpabio, who stated this at the Commission's permanent headquarters in Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital, on Sunday, stressed the need for collaboration and synergy in the effort to develop the region. The Commission, in a statement by its Director of Corporate Affairs, Charles Odili, said the minister regretted that the NDDC had not lived up to expectations after it was established many years ago. Akpabio, however, lauded the acting managing of the NDDC and members of the Interim Management Committee for doing a good job in delivering the new office complex, which he described as a good story for the NDDC. Coming from around Africa quickly, Mali, ex-Foreign Minister Wani named Interim Prime Minister. Former Malian Foreign Minister Mokhtar Wani has been named Prime Minister by the country's interim President Ba-Ndor. Wani served as Foreign Minister between 2004 and 2011 during Amadou Touré's presidency. And the members of the new Prime Minister's government will be unveiled tomorrow as an office from the military junta in power since Mali's August 18 coup, said on condition of anonymity. Mali's neighbors in the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, had insisted that the junta name a civilian to the job of government chief after former Colonel and Defense Minister Ba-Ndor was installed. A civilian prime minister was the precondition for ECOWAS to lift sanctions it imposed 2 days after the coup removing President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, which the junta claims inflicted no casualties. Ndo was sworn in Friday before Mali's Supreme Court with junta Chief Colonel Assimi Goïta as his deputy, placing Goïta in charge of defense and security issues. And still from around Africa, CAR, President Taladera looks for a second term in office. Central African Republic President Taladera has announced he will be running for a second term in office. If the president hadn't officially announced he would be the movement Shaw Yunis MCU party candidate, the news doesn't come as a surprise for members of the presidential party. Faustin Archange Taladera now joins a dozen of candidates, amongst which former President Francois Bozize, who has come back to the CAR after years in exile. 7 years after Francois Bozize was overthrown by the mainly Muslim Seleka coalition, the Central African Republic is supposed to be hosting its presidential election on December 27th. Since 2013, two-thirds of the country have been controlled by rebel militias. Many fear that with the election approaching, violence would once again surge in the African country. We'll go on a short break. We'll come back, bring you updates from the United Kingdom. Let's see stories on exit as Gove heads to Brussels as EU trade talks resume. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
Has come for the gathering of sons to get recharged and revitalized.
The church that cannot be despised is a church of testimonies.
An outburst of revival.
There's a revival! Let's take it.
International Ministers Conference October edition.
Testimonies are the trademark of God's mandate.
Apostle Johnson and Dr. Lizzie Suleiman, 28th through 30th October 2020. Ministers without blemish. Time 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. GMT+1. Happening live at the International Worship Center, Omega Fire Ministries, Kilometer 132, Benin Okene Abuja Expressway, Auji, Edo State, Nigeria. For inquiries, please call Ministers without blemish. Prepare for your next level.
Welcome back. Now, updates from UK. On Brexit, Gove heads to Brussels as EU trade talks resume. Cabinet Office Minister Michael Gove is heading to Brussels at the start of a week of talks about the UK's future relationship with the European Union. Mr. Gove will meet European Commission Vice President Maros Sefcovic, to discuss implementation of the Brexit divorce deal. And on Tuesday, formal negotiations will resume as the two sides attempt to agree to post a Brexit trade deal. And last week, the UK said a lot of work remains before a deal can be reached. An European Union spokesman said their chief negotiator, Michael Barnier, was neither optimistic nor pessimistic, but determined to reach a deal. The Brexit transition period, in which the UK has kept to EU trading rules, ends on the 31st of December. The UK and EU are yet to agree a deal that will govern their future trade. The last set of talks between the two sides ended acrimoniously when the UK government introduced the Internal Market Bill, which would allow the UK to override parts of the original Brexit divorce deal known as the Withdrawal Agreement. Mr. Šefčovič said that if the bill were to be adopted, it would constitute an extremely serious violation of the Withdrawal Agreement and of international law. He urged the government to withdraw the bill by the end of the month, adding that the Withdrawal Agreement contains a number of mechanisms and legal remedies to address violations of the legal obligation contained in the text, which the European Union will not be shy in using. The UK government said it will discharge its treaty obligations in good faith, but added that it is important to remember the fundamental principle of parliamentary sovereignty. The bill has not been withdrawn and is said to be debated by Member of Parliament on Tuesday. More updates from France. France racism, Paris to commemorate slave rebellion figure. Paris to put up a statue of a black woman involved in a 1802 rebellion against slavery on the French Caribbean island of Guadeloupe. The woman, named only Solitude, was captured and possibly executed. Opening a public garden in her honor, Paris Mayor and Annie Hidalgo called them Solitude a heroine and a strong symbol. France's history of slavery has been under new scrutiny in part because of the U.S. Black Lives Matter protest. There has been soul-searching over public commemoration of colonial figures such as 17th century statesman Jean-Baptiste Colbert, who actually codified overseas slavery and is remembered by a statue outside the National Parliament in Paris. But President Emmanuel Macron has spoken against removing statues or names of controversial figures, offering instead a clear-headed look at our history and our memory. Very little is known for sure, with just one brief written mention in the 19th century history of Guadeloupe, according to UNESCO. That account records that Solitude, a mixed-race woman, was arrested among a band of insurgents during an uprising against slavery, which had been reinstated by Napoleon after being abolished during the French Revolution. She was sentenced to death, the history notes, but allowed to give birth before being tortured, an ambiguous term which could mean she was indeed put to death through flogging, for example. Solitude was portrayed in a 1972 work of fiction by French writer André Schwartzbart, and a statue already honors her in Les Abymes, Guadeloupe. The statue garden is located on Place du General Contreras in northwestern Paris, where a statue will be erected in time. While a statue of a black woman will be rare in the French capital, it will not be unprecedented. The U.S. and French resistance agent Josephine Baker in 1906 through 1975 has been honored by both a square and a monument. And quickly on business news, will pursue expansion policies to fight recession, says CBN. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, has said the bank will pursue expansionary monetary policies to fight recession because the fiscal policy was already constrained. Emefiele said this was necessary to curb the rising inflation and address recession in the economy. He said this was part of the resolutions of a monetary policy committee meeting held last week. He said the committee was therefore of the view that to abate the pressure, it had no choice but to pursue an expansionary monetary policy using development finance policy tools targeted at raising output and aggregate supply to moderate the rate of inflation. According to Emefiele, the second quarter contraction may lead to recession if the third quarter of 2020 output growth numbers further show a contraction. The Central Bank of Nigeria governor said this was because with the recent removal of subsidy on fuel price, the increase in energy prices and the adjustment of the exchange rate, inflationary pressure will no doubt persist unless MPC considers options that would deal with the pressure aggressively. He said this was the reason the MPC would continue to play a dominant role in the achievement of the goals of the Economy Sustainability Program through its interventionist role to navigate the country towards a direction that will boost output growth and moderate the level of inflation. Emefiele said given that the currency adjustment was a crucial factor in determining the price of petroleum products and energy prices, the MPC believed that the Central Bank of Nigeria management must take bold actions to stabilize the exchange rate. He said the Central Bank of Nigeria is further enjoined by the MPC to continue to provide funding to sectors that would resolve the supply constraint in petrol pricing, energy pricing, and food availability. And still on business news, stock market extends weekly gains by 390 billion naira. The Nigeria equity market extended its weekly gains by 390 billion naira last week. The Nigerian Stock Exchange All-Share Index and market capitalization appreciated by 2.92% to close the week at 26,319 basis points and 13.76 trillion naira respectively. All other indices finished higher with the exception of NSE ASEM index, which closed flat. A total turnover of 1.57 billion shares worth 20.56 billion naira in 18,396 deals were traded last week by investors on the floor of the exchange, compared with 1.14 billion shares valued at 12.69 billion naira that exchanged hands the previous week in 17,109 deals. The financial services industry, measured by volume, led the activity chart with 1.18 billion shares valued at 9.18 billion naira traded in 9,900 deals, thus contributing 75.14% and 44.65% to the total equity turnover volume and value, respectively. The consumer goods industry followed with 90 million shares worth 1.68 billion naira in 2,715 deals. The third place was occupied by the ICT industry with a turnover of 84.67 million shares worth 5.79 billion naira in 771 deals. Trading in the top three equities, namely Sterling Bank, FBN Holdings PLC, and Zenith Bank PLC, measured by volume, accounted for 612.80 million shares worth 4.31 billion naira in 3,739 deals. They contributed 39.10% and 20.97% to the total equity turnover volume and value respectively. 35 equities appreciated in price during the week compared with 32 in the previous week. 28 equities depreciated in price compared with 31 in the previous week. while 100 equities remained unchanged, same as in the previous week. In view of the company's submission of its outstanding financial statements, dealing members were notified that the suspension placed on trading on the shares was lifted on September 25th. We'll go on a short break. We'll come back. We'll bring you news from the sporting world. Stay with us.
Has come for the gathering of sons to get recharged and revitalized.
The church that cannot be despised is a church of testimonies.
An outburst of revival.
Shagada. There's a revival! Let's take it.
International Ministers Conference October edition.
Testimonies are the trademark of God's mandate.
Apostle Johnson and Dr. Lizzie Suleiman, 28th through 30th October 2020. Ministers without blemish. Time 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. GMT+1. Happening live at the International Worship Center, Omega Fire Ministries, Kilometer 132, Benin Okene Abuja Expressway, Auchi, Edo State, Nigeria. For inquiries, please call Ministers without blemish. Prepare for your next level.
Welcome sports news. UFC Adesanya pockets $0.6 million from Costa win. Middleweight UFC champion Israel Adesanya earned $690,000 after his title defense against Brazilian Paulo Costa in UFC 253 at the Flash Forum, Abu Dhabi on Sunday. The Lagos-born star dominated his opponent in the bout, earning a knockout victory with the Brazilian bleeding after receiving a series of kicks and punches to his face. The last style-bender earned a guaranteed $600,000 appearance fee and was also handed $40,000 promotion fee and an extra $50,000 performance incentive. Adesanya's $600,000 is a 10% increase on his previous fight, while his opponent received $400,000 as appearance fee. Costa would have won $100,000 more if he had defeated Adesanya. The Nigerian is billed to face the winner between Robert Whittaker and Jared Cannonier in his third middleweight title defense. The fight comes up October 24th. Adesanya had previously defeated Whittaker to claim the middleweight belt in 2019. The UFC star says he would like to enjoy the victory with loved ones before his next fight. Adesanya's compatriots Kamaru Usman made $640,000 from his unambiguous decision win or unanimous decision win against Judge Masvidal in July.
One final time tonight, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jason Herzog has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 59 seconds of the second round. Declaring the winner by TKO and still the undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya!
Fastest man in the world, baby. Because I run so fast. I run face.
All right, here he is, the undisputed UFC middleweight champion, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya, with the entire world watching. You turned in a near-perfect performance here tonight. It seems like everything you said during fight week bared fruit here tonight. Congratulations.
I've been telling you guys, man, but everyone thinks, hey, like Roy Jones said, I said, y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot because of what happened last time. You thought, oh, he's so boring, blah, 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 blah. And I see you media people as well with your little clickbait headlines, but trust me, I had to make y'all remember, and I had to remind the world why we the best.
There were a lot of champions who wouldn't have asked for Yoel Romero. They wouldn't have asked for Paulo Costa. I know you want to fight the most dangerous guys, but you believe there was a major skill discrepancy here tonight. Your thoughts on the fight?
I've been telling y'all, man, honestly, and also I got to say, I told Dana, 30% is not enough. Some of these guys are gangsters. They're making money outside the UFC. 30% ain't them. So they'll give up that to not make the weight and have 90 minutes to keep on making the weight. And they just, drink their waters and whatnot. 30% is not enough. Make it 90%. And that way I guarantee you they'll spend every of those seconds in that 90 minutes trying to make the weight and not just bitch out.
You haven't had a lot of time off. You are 20-0 as a mixed martial arts athlete, a perfect 9-0 in the UFC. As you spin this thing forward, get in here, Gito.
That's my guy. I don't care. I just want him here. I just want him here. Yeah, carry on.
As you spin this thing forward and you look ahead in this middleweight division that you are starting to clean out, your thoughts on what lies ahead?
I told you guys, Anderson Silva lived a great legacy, and I said I wanted to do service to the middleweight division, and that's a hard act to follow, but we're doing the work, right, Huge? 100%. So I already DM'd Jared Cannonier. He's a hell of a dude. I love his energy. He's a beautiful, beautiful man. And I said, you destroy Robert Whittaker and you're next. He's the one I want to fight next, right, Huge? He deserves it. If he beats Robert Whittaker handedly and dominates him, he's next.
The world once again witnesses your greatness here tonight. Any final words, champ, before we let you fly?
Hey, shout out to the best team in the world, City Kickboxing, Andre Paulette, Eugene, Tristan. Can you hear my mans in the back? Brad Riddell, Kai Carfran, Shane Young, Bo, Carlos Alberg, Blood Diamond, Shed Juan, Wagwan. Honestly, man, I love you all. Everyone watching at home, I love you all. Hey, shout out to the puppy. Mwah.
You are looking at the undisputed greatest middleweight in the world at present. The champion remains Israel Adesanya.
Still on sports news, Serie A. Ronaldo double saves 10-man Juventus at Roma. Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice to salvage a point for 10-man Juventus in a 2-2 draw at Roma as Napoli hammered Genoa 6-0 in Serie A on Sunday. Champions Juventus were trailing 2-1 and in man down after an hour at the Stadio Olimpico after a Jordan Verretout brace for the host and Adrien Rabiot sending off. But a touring Ronaldo header grabbed the equalizer in the 69th minute to avoid handing new Juventus coach Andrea Pirlo a first defeat. Eddie Dzeko was back on the Roma front line after his move to Juventus fell through, the Bosnian having missed last week's trip to Verona, which ended in a forfeit defeat for the capital side for fielding an unregistered player. Instead, new Juventus signing Alvaro Morata got his first start after his move from Atletico Madrid earlier this week. But the champions were pushed hard by the host, with Verretout opening from the spot in the 31st minute after a Rabiot handball. The French midfielder added the second shortly before the break, just after Ronaldo had equalized for the first time. Another handball, this time Lorenzo Pellegrini's, resulted in Juventus being awarded a penalty following Ronaldo allowing Ronaldo to slot in. The Portuguese got his second with 20 minutes to when his head met a Danilo cross 7 minutes after Rabiot was sent off for a second yellow card.
And good evening to you from the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. Edin Dzeko leading Roma through. He will remain a Roma player linked with tonight's opposition, Juventus. And what a start to the season it was in very different ways. Look at Pedro if Mkhitaryan can see him. Might go on his own. Oh, what a run from Mkhitaryan. Good, strong, solid save from Szczesny. Intercepted by Vertu, very well read. Mkhitaryan was running in behind Dzeko there if he'd seen him, but it still falls kindly. Now appeals for a hand against Rabiot.
Well, it certainly did hit him on the arm, and I think his arm was out at his side as well. He actually made a good recovery run, and when he just made the interception, he just laid it to the edge of the box.
And it's Vertu, and he got a hand to it, and he should have saved it. Szczesny did everything right, but keep it out. And Jordan Vertu puts Roma in front against the champions. Nice quick feet from Ronaldo, appeals for a hand, penalty. Points to the spot. And Juve have a chance to respond here. Roma need a hero. Juve have the hero. It is Ronaldo. And they do draw level, and crucially they do so just before half-time. Pellegrini, the offender for the second penalty, with the header away. Now Roma might be able to break here. Look at this, they've got 3 against 1. Mkhitaryan with support. This is brilliant from Roma. Juve caught stone cold by Jordan Vertu. His second, Roma's second. And we have a thriller in the capital. Well, change of pace there from Mkhitaryan. It's Edin Dzeko! Oh, what a chance! The player who could have been Juventus' centre forward. Well, here's Morata, suddenly finds himself in behind Ronaldo with a chance to make Dzeko pay, and he couldn't. There's a stretch from Rabiot, who's on a yellow card. Rabiot off, first red card from Marco Di Bello for 6 years, and Juve down to 10. Bit better this from Juve. Danilo for Ronaldo! Oh, it's sensational! The leap is truly remarkable. And he heads Juve right back into the game. How does he do it? Gravity defying from Cristiano Ronaldo.
But it's also good play from Danilo.
Wow, interesting game, and wonderful performance from Cristiano Ronaldo. And that has actually brought us to the end of the news on Celebration Television News Desk. In case you're just joining us, here's a recap of the news headlines. Present cracks may lead to Nigeria's breakup, Osinbajo warns. Mali, ex-foreign minister Wani named interim prime minister. And on Brexit, Gove heads to Brussels as EU trade talks resume. Will pursue expansion policy to fight recession, says CBN. And on sports, UFC Adesanya pockets $0.6 million from Costa win. And quickly, we have a photo of the day. Quickly, I hope you can see the 2 persons in that picture that's just been displayed right now. displaying somebody who's been amputated and the other one seated begging and all that. It depicts that poverty is actually a state of mind which you tag yourself with. It depends on what you want. If you dare to cause a change, it is very, very positive. It's very possible, and it should be a positive change at that. You can as well drop your comment on our social media platform. On Facebook, we have Celebration TV. On Instagram, My Celebration TV. At Twitter, at My Celebration TV. YouTube, Celebration TV. Always remember that the continuous transformation of our society is a collective responsibility of all. No matter the office you hold today as a nation's president, a thought leader, an opinion molder, a character builder, a professional, and as a person pursuing passion, you have a duty to give your all to making the society a better place for us and the generations to come. Play your part today and do it with all diligence. Thank you once again for staying with us on our news desk. I remain Nicholas Akosile-Walter. Stay blessed. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosun.